Ooh, you are listening to Keith Price's Curtain Call. Yes, honey, this is Keith Price, and we are back for another episode of Keith Price's Curtain Call, and I have got a technological dream come true. For you theater goers that are not only on your phones, which, you know what, Patty LaPone has already come for y'all once. Y'all need to stop with the damn phones in the theater. But if you need to get into the theater, this is a really great option for you to be able to do it with your phone. And today, I'm very excited because this guy, I met him when this whole thing was really just, it was the newest thing that was about to be launched. And I have to say that since, I guess it was December 2013 till today, Merritt Baer, who is the head chief honcho god supreme of one of the hottest, it is really for any theater goer right now in America, at least in New York, New York, San Francisco, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, Chicago, and, you know, the West End, if you are listening, because I do have a few friends in London that are listening to this podcast. You can get tickets today to see a show on this wonderful app called Tix, which is available not only on your Android phones, which is what I have because I'm not fierce like everybody else with their Apples, and you can also get it at the Apple Store. And I just have to say that since this thing has happened, people have like literally lost their minds on being able to get tickets. And one of the things that Merritt is so thrilled about, at least as far as I can tell from just our conversation off mic, is that he is now a part of what is the new generation of ticket buying theater goers. And so, first of all, thank you.
Well, thanks so much for having me today.
And Merritt Baer is here. Merritt, my lord. Okay, so 2013 December, we were hanging out in the studio in another part of town, and we were talking about this new thing that you were about to launch.
Yeah, we had spent almost a year at that point preparing, getting ourselves ready, and some beta testing, and obviously building all the technological groundwork. And then we launched in December 2013, so a little over 2.5 years ago. And it's been fantastic. Now we have over 1.6 million users globally.
Wow.
As you said, we're in New York and London and Chicago and LA and San Fran and DC and Boston, Connecticut. So
everywhere.
It's been great. And we have a lot more exciting geographic growth to come. Some more in the US, some more international cities we can maybe tell you about down the line. We're excited to roll out. But it's been a great ride, and I think what we're most excited about is we really are engaging, the next generation of theater goers.
Absolutely.
And it's been great.
Oh my God, Merritt Baer with me here on Keith Price's Curtain Call, and we are talking about the Tix app. And I have to say, I am very excited because for me, this is the access that I was hoping would eventually come to theater buyers. Why is it taking so long for this moment to happen?
So me and my co-founder Brian, we both produce and co-produce Broadway shows.
By the way, he does have a Tony. Stop. I forgot to mention that because normally on this show I always like to make sure Tony Award winning producer Merritt Baer. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But we'd produce shows, and we'd also been lifelong theater fans.
Right.
And for us, it was really about where is that intersection of, as a producer, how would I want to sell tickets? As a consumer, how would I want to buy tickets? How do you ease that friction, right? And I think both of us had waited in so many lines, whether it be getting up. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I woke up with my student ID at 5 a.m. to wait outside to rush a show, or, the various, challenges, whether it be waiting on long waits on the phone back in the day, or kind of going through more challenging web processes, and we just thought there's got to be an easier way. And so when we started this business, we thought, we were both 20-somethings, and we looked around us and we looked at, the Ubers and the Hotel Tonights and the Airbnb and Seamless and OpenTable, and there were all these great mobile companies really working on how do you make it easier to access industry. And why was nothing like this being done for our industry, the industry we loved so much, an industry we were part of as producers? And we thought, well, why don't we just do it? And so and so we did. So we spent a lot of time working on the user experience, making sure, from choosing a show to having your confirmation, it could be 30 seconds or less. We sell tickets up to a week in advance, so it's not just day of, but 7 days before till, in many cases, 1 hour before showtime. We have a lot of really amazing partnerships, exclusive partnerships that only are accessible through us, So, we have a major partnership with the Public Theater,
Right.
who, the Public Theater has been great because my first college internship with the Public Theater, I was a PA on a pre-New York engagement of a production of theirs. The first Broadway show I co-produced alongside the Public Theater, so I've had a long history there. But our partnership with them is called Free First Previews. So the first performance of every show all season long is entirely free and exclusively on Today Tix. The first season we launched this out 2 years ago. There's this little show that was included called Hamilton, and so when you think about Hamilton, big as it is, the first performance ever for the live audience was entirely free, exclusively on Today Tix.
See?
And then, we launched with the Public Hamilton for Hamilton. So we had $10 tickets at every performance at the Public. And then, other shows in that season, Anne Hathaway started a one-woman production of Grounded.
Right.
This past year, eclipsed with Lupita Nyong'o. It's just been fantastic.
The good thing is, and this is something that I had said to someone about this app before, is that not only are you giving people the opportunity to do this with Broadway, but for many folks, off-Broadway is just as vital, just as vibrant, and just as available if they come to Today Tix.
Exactly, yeah. No,
and I love that.
We have, globally over 250 partners. And that's, not just there's 40 theaters in Times Square. There's a lot of theater outside, I like to say below 14th Street or outside of the 10 block crazy radius that is some of the best theater in the world. I saw American in Paris yesterday for the second time and just loved it again.
Right.
But there's also amazing art downtown. There's amazing stuff in Brooklyn. I mean, we have a partnership with St. Anne's Warehouse. We do a mobile rush for every show all season long. So Streetcar Named Desire or Nice Fish with Mark Rylance, and we're really proud of those partnerships. And across the pond with the Royal Court, which is a hotbed of innovation and great theater out there, or the Almeida, where we just partnered with Richard III with Vanessa Redgrave and Ray Fiennes, and it was amazing.
That's for me. I think that's really very exciting because again, you are tapping into something that people, for some reason, like I said, it seems like it should have already happened by now. But the fact that it's happening with you and with what you've done, it's like it's going to be very hard for anybody to try to copy this, don't you think?
Well, I think we're really proud of the technological innovation that we've come up with, and I think over the next few weeks and months we have a lot of new exciting product innovations we'll be rolling out, things we've been working on for quite a while, and quite frankly over the year ahead, we have a lot of new things to show our customers. But I think simply via the platform that we've created for Today Tix, interestingly, it really engages that next generation of theater goers. So 70% of our ticket buyers are millennials,
right?
Which, as a producer, the average Broadway theater goer is about, I think, 43 or 44, according to the last Broadway League report. And if you consider the number of children in an audience at, Lion King or Matilda or Cinderella or whatever, the average Broadway ticket buyer is probably around 50. Right. So we're about 2 decades younger than the average Broadway ticket buyer.
Right.
Which has been such a honor and thrill for us to, whether it be as entrepreneurs or as producers or just theater lovers, to see new people engaging either for the first time or the first time in a very long time with theater. In our partnership with St. Anne's Warehouse, a production I think 1 or 2 seasons ago was Let the Right One In, the John Tiffany production from London, which was so successful and amazing.
And John Tiffany's with Once and
director of Once and currently Harry Potter in London.
And then what was the Glass Menagerie?
Glass Menagerie, which was incredible. So amazing director. During the end of that run, we were selling almost about 10% of the theater each night, and we were really proud of that. But it was interesting, the marketing director from St. Anne's reached out at the end of the run and said to us, "Thank you so much for the sales. It was so great to have the houses packed with your audience members." What was really interesting is we did a cross-reference of everyone Today Tix sent us versus the entire historical St. Anne's Warehouse database. And there was not a single match. It was 100% new audiences that had never been to St. Anne's before.
Wow.
So I think that's really exciting for us to be able to introduce new people to amazing work and get people really excited about theater.
What I find so fascinating though is that for you, I'm talking to Merritt Baer here for the curtain call, and what I love is that I can, as just sitting here now, I can sense your general excitement, which seems to be all the time. Because again, like I said, I haven't physically laid eyes on you since 2013, and you were just as excited then as you are right now. What helps you stay that way?
I think we have an amazing team. I think one of Brian and my goals are, try and surround ourselves with really smart people. It's always nice for us to be, the dumbest people in the room, right? So we have an amazing team. I think over 50 people in New York, 6 people in London, hundreds of aspiring actors and actors who help us on a nightly basis, hand delivering tickets to excited consumers outside the theaters for some of our shows, for our concierge delivery. And I think that when you actually reach those customers, we're now selling, about almost 6% of all the tickets on Broadway,
right,
on a weekly basis. And I think that, for in 2.5 years to grow like that, I think we've been really excited to actually see these things kind of come to fruition.
I love that. Merritt Baer with me here on the curtain call. And, one of the things, like, as if you were to someone now, if you were listening to this right now and you're going to Today Tix, either at the Google store or at the Apple store where you get your apps, and you download this app, it's really great because I've had a few people since the time that you and I talked about this that are in a different generation. They're not the young generation. And they were saying that, they had just come to New York for like a 2-day visit. Mm-hmm. And being able to have that kind of access that quickly for them, because of course not every show is available to some degree, but I mean, like you will not, you ain't going to get Hamilton.
Hamilton is sold out.
You're not going to get it. So don't even bother.
Right. For us, it's about creating a product that's convenient for anyone, right?
Exactly.
My grandparents, have used the app.
I'm sure with pride.
and they're very proud, and I adore them. And but it's an app that should be incredibly intuitive.
Right.
That's exactly what we built it for.
Right.
And again, you can click on a show, see all the performances for the week ahead that have availability, choose your section, and have your confirmation just like that.
Yeah.
So,
and the best part is that when it's time to pick up your ticket, you'll find a lovely suited person standing outside the theater with a hat and a whole schmear waiting for you to give you your tickets, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So for our Broadway shows, we have what we call the Today Tix concierge delivery method,
right,
which is, as you said, we have these aspiring actors who work with us and arrive to the theater half an hour before showtime, have your tickets waiting there, so you can be greeted to the show by a nice, friendly young person who is, excited about theater too. And quite frankly, I've had so many customers give us feedback of, I had a great time talking to the concierge. They were excited about the show, so I got excited about the show. And it really makes a difference, that personalized experience.
I love that. I love it. So you've taken what has been quote unquote convenient and actually added a little a hint of panache.
There you go. Because
there's someone waiting for you. The concierge is waiting for you. That's pretty fabulous.
We do what we can.
That's very exciting. It's very exciting. Talking to Merritt Baer here, and we had this thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. I saw when Lin-Manuel Miranda and Chuck Schumer, senator from New York, were planning basically an attack on the folks that are scalping tickets.
Yep.
And it's hard enough as it is to get tickets for people to see shows, but it's even worse when you have basically these Autobots that are coming in and basically
scooping up thousands
of seats at a time and then overselling them. For you, does it make your job harder?
So, first of all, Today Tix works directly with all the theaters.
Right.
We have 250 global partners, and we never sell a ticket for more than is printed on the ticket. So it's either face value or the best discount available. We never mark up a ticket. That's not what we do.
Right.
But for brokers whose goal it is to, quite frankly, maximize their take on every ticket, they have concocted, quite frankly, illegal ways to, scan through Ticketmaster and grab thousands of tickets at a time the second that Hamilton or other hot shows may go on sale. And it's really challenging and quite frankly depressing for the average consumer, because then they're stuck going to places like StubHub or quite frankly Ticketmaster's own secondary market and finding those tickets available for resale. I think it's really commendable what Lynn's doing, what Jeffrey Seller, the producer, has done to crack down on people buying up more than the limits they've set. That said, outside of Hamilton, the phenomenon doesn't really exist in theater.
Right.
Maybe for Beyonce it exists. She was incredible last night in the VMAs.
Look at you.
But for sports teams or for
Right.
other major performers, but it's so rare for a show to be so hot as Hamilton, where demand so far outstrips supply that prices can actually be 2, 3, 4, 5 times as valuable on the secondary market as they are at face value. I think the last time we saw anything remotely like that, was Book of Mormon 5 years ago. And while that's still hot and there's still definitely a secondary market for that, I think outside of those two shows, it's very, very, very rare to see any kind of major secondary market. Maybe around Christmas time. But so outside of the Hamilton phenomenon, that problem doesn't really exist in theater.
Because I was thinking of like Hamilton, Book of Mormon, then the producers, and then for me, as far back as Chorus Line. And that's the only time that...
Chorus Line back in the 76,
76, 76, 77.
And then, Rent around 96.
Yeah.
So, or mid-90s. I'm probably off there. I'm going to embarrass myself. But...
well, that was what they had a 20 anniversary. So like 96.
Right, yeah, 96-ish. So Rent and producers. Yeah, I think producers was a really big one. Obviously, that was only really, really hot with Nathan and Matthew.
Yeah.
Once the stars left... the show cooled off immensely, whereas I think that Scott Rudin on the producers, Scott Rudin on Book of Mormon and Jeffrey Seller on Hamilton have really done their best to make the show the star.
Right.
So less cast dependent on how hot it is. But then again, you'll see, I think you'll see a lot more of this with star-driven plays, right? So you have Denzel Washington and Raisin in the Sun or Fences with a limited engagement,
right,
where the show's only running for 12 weeks, 14 weeks, because that shortens the supply, versus a musical that's going to run, quite frankly, in the case of Hamilton or Mormon or whatever, 10 plus years. There's a whole lot of supply over that time period.
Right.
Versus, when I worked on, when I co-produced either Death of a Salesman or Merchant of Venice, when you have Al Pacino, in Merchant of Venice, obviously a lot of people want to see it over a 12 or 14 week period. Similar with Philip Seymour Hoffman in Death of a Salesman.
Yeah. Wow. Merritt Baer with me here on Keith Price's Curtain Call, and we're talking about the magic that is Today Tix, the app. That is going to, for any theater goer, I think it is truly one of those things that has revolutionized the accessibility to theater. And again, for the average person now that's walking around with their smartphone, you have now given them the opportunity to experience the world of theater. And I think that that's one of the things that I like to do. It's fun to bring theater to people that don't necessarily see a lot of theater, if at all.
Well, and I think so much of that is also based in what shows are being produced. Like right now, we've just announced a really exciting partnership with New York Theater Workshop.
Yes.
They're doing a new exciting production of Othello, starring, James Bond, no less.
James Bond and not, I was going to say Chiwetel Ejiofor, but not him. It's the guy from
David,
Selma.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Oswello or
yes.
Swello. Yeah.
And Daniel Craig. and so we're working with them on they have a program they run for years called Cheap Tix.
Right.
And we're working with them. So now Cheap Tix will be only available through Today Tix, and it's $25 tickets to every performance in the house, every ticket in the house for the first 2 performances, as well as a handful of tickets or more every performance thereafter. So you can get $25 tickets to see, Daniel Craig and David Oyelowo.
Oyelowo. I should know.
Yes.
But I don't.
But
I can't take it all black people. No, I'm just kidding.
I think Sam Gold directing. I would expect it to be an incredible production.
Right.
I
wonder if they're
going
to are they going to modernize it, you think, and make it more?
I think you'll have to wait till the production opens.
Oh, you see how the producers are? They're just holding
enter the lottery for the first 2 performances on Today Tix for $25 tickets and check it out.
I've only won the lottery once so far, and I gotta say
we have a lot of people enter. But and we had this summer we did the digital lottery for Shakespeare in the Park. We were the exclusive digital access point. I think we gave away something like over 20,000, probably 25,000 tickets.
I won for
something
Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah, and so I think it's and for Fun Home, which won Best Musical a little over a year ago, we still have a lottery at every single performance for $35 tickets, and the show's closing. I want to say
in 2 weeks
September
or 3 weeks,
14th-ish.
Yeah.
And that show is amazing. And so I think for us, it's been such an honor to be able to bring the next generation, along with that producing team, the next generation of theater goers into seeing such amazing work.
And I guess the best part too about Fun Home too is that it's also going out on tour. So even if you are not in the town of New York City to see a show like Fun Home, there's an opportunity that's probably going to be in Chicago. It's definitely going to probably, for sure, if nowhere else, be in the San Francisco Bay Area. So all of these are places that you can access those shows probably through Today Tix as well. So
we certainly hope.
boom.
I don't think we can announce any partnership yet, but I'm pretty sure it's actually opening the new current theater that's been under renovation for a while now, and I think they're really excited to have Fun Home out in the Bay Area, and I think it's going to speak really beautifully to the audience.
That's going to be great. So wow. So again, these are things that you can look forward to if you are listening to this insane podcast that I tend to do from week to week. And this is like a nugget for you now to take with you to, I guess, enhance your theater growing experience. And so Merritt Baer, go to Today Tix online at the Google store. They can get it. You can go to todaytix.com to find out which store you have to go to. I'm still a little bit of a Luddite when it comes to all of this, but I've told you I've graduated to a new smartphone, so I'm feeling very sassy right now. And again, this is really awesome. I hope that this continues to grow in the direction that it seems to be going, and it becomes something that will ultimately, at some point in time, just be de rigueur. Everyone just goes to Today Tix to get their tickets. That's what they're going for.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
You like that, don't you?
I'm all for that.
And it's free. You can download the app for free. Like, it can't get any easier than that. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, Merritt, thank you so much for taking some time and hanging out with us. And I am thrilled. Now, we still have to talk about The Bodyguard at some point. We still need to talk about this Gypsy thing. We were having a thing about the Gypsy earlier, but whether or not Imelda Staunton's Gypsy in the West End is really where it's at. And he says yes.
I
don't know.
Staunton's Mama Rose is unbelievable.
I don't know.
I hope they bring it to New York so that more people can see it over here.
It'll be amazing.
It'll be great.
It'll be great. So, again, thank you so much for spending time with me. And I hope that the next time that we're having a conversation again, that it's even bigger than it is now. That's going to be great.
Finger mouth to God's ear.
All right. Well, we will be back.